Hi there, welcome back to DSR Ghostwriting on YouTube and LinkedIn. My name is Daniel Rosal. I'm a writer and marketing consultant based here in Jerusalem. I wanted to talk today about a topic that I think is quite important for marketers, whether you're an inbound marketer or a content marketer, and that's whether or not it makes more sense to distribute the content you're creating through your own managed channels, your owned channels, or external channels. So I'm just going to explain a little bit about the distribution channels available to you and give a pro and con on each side. So firstly, when we're talking about owned channels, the example I'd give is a blog. You go and install a blog on your website, whether that's a WordPress blog or you're using Wix or using Joomla, it doesn't really matter. We're not going to get into the technical details. If it's on your own website, let's look at it from the editorial standpoint. You have full editorial control over what goes out on that blog. You can choose how much content to create. You can choose when to distribute. And from an SEO perspective, if you're publishing first on the blog, then that's what's going to be indexed in search engines. And that's pretty significant, as we'll discuss later. The second approach you can take for content distribution is distributing through channels, non-managed channels. So these are channels that you do not own. An example of this, let's just look at the social network you might be watching this on, whether it's YouTube or whether it's LinkedIn or whether even it's Facebook. If you're posting content to YouTube or LinkedIn or Facebook, whether it's text-based, video-based, or audio-based, there's a set of rules you have to comply with, and you're copying your data. If I go ahead and put this video onto LinkedIn, I'm creating a copy of my data on LinkedIn. Now, the advantages and disadvantages. Well, the advantage of distributing your content through non-managed channels are that you can end up reaching a wider audience. You can build followers on platforms such as Twitter, LinkedIn, Medium, etc., and that can give you wider distribution opportunities. Now, the big negative is that they're non-managed, non-owned channels. You don't own Facebook, you don't own YouTube, and therefore you're really at the whims of algorithms on these social networks in terms of how you can get that content out to your target audience. So what do I recommend and what do content producers do? Firstly, you should always, and I'm saying this not as a content marketer, just as a backup fiend, you should always keep a copy of your content, whether that's a video or an audio clip or it's text. So don't create content directly in the cloud, because there's always a risk that whatever you create is going to be deleted. So I see people trying to develop reputations as influencers on social media networks, and I think that they have to be very careful to make sure they have good backup systems in place. But it's always a risky strategy to make yourself entirely dependent upon the whims of a non-managed, non-owned social network, because as I mentioned, there are things that can go wrong in that approach. So another tactic which a lot of people use with success is to syndicate content from managed channels out to non-managed channels. I'll give you an example of that approach. You can write a blog post on your website. So we're starting here with an owned managed channel. You own the blog, you own the website, you go and post that and nobody's going to be deleting it. Then you can bleed out excerpts from that blog in the form of short posts, posting those out to social media channels like LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, Medium. This can be a very, very successful strategy for people that want to get more mileage out of their content. And it kind of hedges bets, because on the one hand, you're owning the content by publishing the original source on your own website, but you're also tapping in to the benefit of all those secondary networks by syndicating it out. Also, from a SEO perspective, channels like Medium support canonical tags, which means that when you distribute a copy, it won't be marked as duplicate. So you can actually create an exact copy of your content and put it out through those channels. So I hope this short overview of the pros and cons of distributing your content, whether that's content marketing or thought leadership via owned versus non-owned channels, was useful. If you're interested in getting more information and thoughts about thought leadership and content marketing, the differences, how to leverage both, then please feel free to check out my website, dsrghostwriting.com. There's a newsletter there, a LinkedIn page, And if you are looking for a thought leadership marketing service, then please feel free to check out what's there on DSR Ghostwriting. There's a full service outline on the website. Thank you for watching, and until next time.